The girl went to the hospital examination. Unexpectedly, the doctor was a male. "Oh, nurse, why is it a male doctor?" "What's wrong with a male doctor? Hurry up and take off your clothes, there's no other way. She can only pretend to call while taking off her bra." At this point, as she was not embarrassed, the embarrassed one would definitely be the other party. Then, she handed her bra to the doctor. Seeing this, the doctor said it was enough to take it off. No need to hand it to him. Hearing this, the girl blushed and took back her bra. Just then, she entered name tag and recognized this male doctor as her annoying first love from high school. Letting her first love check her chest, just thinking about it already made people excited. With a shy glance at the man in front of her, she directly pulled her shirt over her head. This made Din Yam a little flustered. "Have you been eating any stimulating food recently? Does it hurt here? Not painful, it's unbearable." After the examination, she was so embarrassed that she didn't even wait for the results. She snatched the medical record on the table at a speed of 100 mph. Running out of the room, Kwang Hee-lak still muttered to herself that it had been 10 years already. He probably didn't recognize her. Unexpectedly, the next moment, "Hey, Hee-lak, you forgot your bra." The hallway suddenly became a scene of extreme embarrassment. To erase her awkward situation, Kwang Hee-lak pretended to call her boss, didn't dare to look back, and hurriedly ran away. When she returned home, she found that the door couldn't be opened. Could it be that when you're unlucky, even drinking water will cause choking? When she called her mother, she found out that 3 months ago, her mother met her first love from when she was 18, planned to live with him and even get married. Now they have moved next door. Not long after, Kwang Hee-lak went to her future stepfather's house for dinner, and through their conversation she found out that Uncle Din has a son named Tun Yem. Moreover, that son is a doctor. This instantly gave her a bad premonition. Little Nin is not my son, but he also has the Din surname. What a coincidence, my son also has the Din surname. Tell me, isn't it surprising, isn't it coincidental? My son, a Din, also has the Din surname. So is his name Din Tun Yem or Din Yamang? Din Yem. Hearing this, Kwang Hee-lak was momentarily stunned. Just as she turned to hide her awkward expression, she happened to see a photo on the table. Isn't this the person who did her chest examination? After learning about the return of her mother's first love from Uncle Din, Kwang Hee-lak found her meal less appetizing. Therefore, she quickly pretended to have a stomachache and wanted to go home. But just as she walked to the door, she bumped into Din Yem. This startled Kwang Hee-lak. Then she slipped, just as she was about to fall to the floor. Din Yem, instinctively, reached out to pull her back. As a result, due to inertia, the two had intimate physical contact. This encounter caused both of them to fall to the ground, just at the moment they were about to hit the floor. Unconsciously, Din Yem raised his hand to protect Kwang Hee-lak's head. The parents, hearing the noise, rushed out, only to see them struggling on the floor. Was this some kind of grand greeting for their first meeting? However, it could not change the fact. If their parents really stayed together, then Kwang Hee-lak and Din Yem would become siblings. Din Yem was clearly not pleased, as he didn't want such a clumsy sister, and Kwang Hee-lak felt even more indignant. She was only clumsy to avoid the embarrassment of meeting. They were not just ordinary high school friends. On their graduation day, she had already told him. As it turns out, when they were in high school, Kwang Hee-lak had feelings for Din Yem. In her eyes, there was only his image. By the time of high school graduation, Kwang Hee-lak finally gathered enough courage to confess her feelings to Din Yem, but unexpectedly, she was rejected by Din Yem. "I don't have time to waste on you," he said. "He really hates me." Moreover, she's sure I said that, right? That's what you mean, isn't it? Did she misinterpret my words? Seeing the two arguing fiercely, the parents quickly advised and said, "Could there be some misunderstanding?" "There's no misunderstanding at all, I hate him. But don't worry, Mom, it won't affect your relationship with Uncle Din. You two should get married and have a baby." After saying that, Kwang Hee-lak angrily left. However, she didn't know that, in fact, Din Yem has always liked her. In the hospital during the day, when Din Yem heard Kwang Hee-lak's name, he was so excited that he dropped the cup of water he was holding. When Kwang Hee-lak walked by, he was so tense that he couldn't put on his gloves. After Hee-lak got home, she looked at the graduation photo. Her mind was as tangled as a ball of yarn. At the same time, Din Yem was also looking at their graduation photo, when the whole class started to take graduation photos. Din Yem had deliberately pushed his friend next to him down. He did it on purpose to stand and take a photo with Kwang Hee-lak. In the blink of an eye, 10 years have passed. Today, the scenery remains the same, but the people are no longer as they once were. This makes Kwang Hee-lak feel a bit melancholic. However, what comes as a surprise is that from the beginning, Din Yem also had feelings for Kwang Hee-lak. But why did he reject Kwang Hai-lak's confession? After a night of contemplation, in order not to affect her mother's future happiness, Kwang Hai-lak decides to confront Din Nyem to clarify everything. But just as she pushed the door to enter, she found Din Nyem holding the baby clothes she had left behind. Din Nyem, you are a pervert. What are you doing with my baby's clothes? Drop it, she said, caught him by the hand and let go. Where do you want to have breakfast? Who's that, younger brother? It's just a piece of baby's clothing, isn't it? Why did you steal it? I'll give it to you then. Uncle Din, Kwang Hai-lak, what nonsense are you talking about? You, always a child? There are hobbies that you don't want to let anyone know. Uncle, you absolutely mustn't scold him. Oh my, it's almost late next time. I'll have breakfast made by you, Uncle. I'm going ahead. Actually, the girl went to the hospital for a breast examination, not expecting that the doctor who checked her would be her first love. The scene suddenly became extremely awkward. But what's even more twisted is that this first love is the son of her mother's fiancé.
This turn of events is truly a damned twist of fate. It really is such a coincidence that her mother has chosen exactly this family. Thus, her first love naturally became her future brother. However, what she could not have expected was that Din's father and Kwang's mother had decided to prepare for their wedding. Moreover, they also hope that Din Nyem and Kwang Hai-lak will be their bridesmaid and groomsmen. This news hit them like a bolt from the blue. While discussing the procedures in the wedding, they started to quarrel vehemently. Although Din Nyem agreed to their wedding, he stated that he had two conditions. First, he would never call Tilak as sister. Who would want to hear him call her sister? And second, if Hai-lak was the bridesmaid, he would definitely not be the groomsman. He could be assured, if he was the groomsman, she would definitely not be the bridesmaid either. Seeing that their relationship was not good, both parents also felt powerless and worried. In the future, when they are living together under one roof, they will argue even more. Therefore, Din's father wanted to quickly resolve the relationship between the two of them. He created a family chat group, thanks to which they found out that Hai-lak had gone on a date.
Seeing Din Nyem's message, she couldn't bear it any longer. Afterwards, she went downstairs with a load of feelings to wait for Kwang Hai-lak. When she saw Kwang Hai-lak laughing and talking with her lover, a sudden burst of jealousy erupted. Therefore, she quickly stepped forward and gave Kwang Hai-lak a bag. She had no idea what was in the bag. When she took out the object inside, her boyfriend Truong Bin An was stunned, and she was also too dumbfounded to say anything. Are you crazy? She could have picked up Din Nyem's thing herself. Why would he bring it here out of the blue? You left it in a rush this morning, so I brought it here for you. Din Nyem's vague words left Kwang Hai-lak unsure of what to do, just as she was about to explain to Truong Bin An. Din Nyem turned his head back and said, Oh, by the way, I've washed it for you. This misunderstanding left Kwang Hai-lak unable to explain. She could only apologetically say goodbye to Bin An, and then hastily run away from the embarrassing situation. The next day, as Din Nyem returned from work, he saw Kwang Hai-lak introducing Truong Bin An to her parents. This made Din Nyem very uncomfortable, but he had to hold it in and even shook hands with Truong Bin An at dinner. Both Din's father and Kwang's mother were satisfied with Truong Bin An. Seeing this, Din Nyem started to feel jealous. After that, Din's father even invited Truong Bin An to be the groomsman. His mother, also raised her hand in approval, because the combined name of the two was Bin An, peace. It was very suitable for Hai-lak. Isn't this Din Nyem shooting himself in the foot? After dinner, Kwang Hai-lak escorted Truong Bin An downstairs. Din Nyem followed Hai-lak why she was dating Truong Bin An. I've noticed that there doesn't seem to be any affection between you two. Hearing this, Kwang Hai-lak was extremely angry. Bin An will treasure every single thing that I give him, even if it's just a small item. What about you? Disregard my feelings in the past? It turned out that a few years ago, Kwang Hai-lak gave Din Nyem a shirt, which had their names embroidered on it. Unexpectedly, in just a blink of an eye, the shirt full of her affections was worn by her rival, who deliberately came to flaunt in front of her. This is indeed child affection. After saying that, Kwang Hai-lak angrily left. Seeing this, Din Nyem quickly chased after, wanting to explain, but accidentally pulled Kwang Hai-lak's baby clothes. The scene immediately became awkward. Kwang Hai-lak, furious, chased Din Nyem around the neighborhood. This scene was unfortunately witnessed by their parents who were coming downstairs, leading them to misunderstand that the two of them were naturally at odds with each other. However, they know that their families becoming neighbors was all part of Din Nyem's initial plan. When the old neighbor just moved out, Din Nyem deliberately chose the opportunity to remind his father that the next room was vacant. His action indeed worked. His father wanted to suggest something to Hylock. By moving next door, could also develop their feelings. His father asked what he thought, and although Din Yem said it was okay, he was actually overjoyed inside. The next day, Kwang Hylock's breast examination report was out, stating she had a lump in her left breast. Therefore, Kwang Hylock, as soon as he found out the result. Kwang Hylock was extremely scared. She hurriedly asked Din Yem if she had to have a mastectomy. Seeing her in a hurry, Din Yem reassured her. This is just a small minor surgery. Everything is okay with me here, so don't worry. Kwang Hylock knew about her condition, so she packed her luggage early in the morning to prepare to go to the hospital, but was unfortunately seen by her mother at. When Kwang Hylock didn't know how to explain, Din Yem appeared just in time, and with his help, she was able to deceive her mother's interrogation. In the evening, Din Yem didn't see Kwang Hylock in the sick room, so he hurried to find her. Then, he accidentally saw Kwang Hylock standing on the rooftop in sorrow.
End of this episode here, everyone. See you again for episode 2 tomorrow. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you.